You are tuned in to a Fireside chat with Zany Mystic. Join us now on another exciting metaphysical journey. Relax, tune in, drop out, and take a seat by the fire as we explore new realms and possibilities. This is Magenta Pixie. You can find me at magentapixie.weebly.com. But now, here is Zany Mystic and guest. Enjoy the show.
Greetings and welcome back to a Fireside Chat with Zany Mystic. I'm your host, Lance White. Tonight, my guest is Tanis Helliwell. Tanis is the founder of the International Institute for Transformation, which offers programs to transform yourself, your work, and your world. Tanis teaches internationally at Christian, Buddhist, and holistic centers, as well as for government, universities, and businesses. She is the author of many books, Embraced by Love, Summer with the Leprechauns, and its sequel, Pilgrimage with the Leprechauns. And she also has a new DVD called Elementals and Nature Spirits. You can sign up for her newsletter and find out more about her at www.tanishelliwell.com. So let's get her out now before the leprechauns play a trick on us. Hi, Tanis. How are you?
Hi, Lance. I'm well. And you?
I'm good. The leprechauns played a little trick on me before the show, but that's all right. I've recovered.
What happened to you?
Well, it's a personal, it was a bathroom issue.
Okay, say no more on air.
Yes.
Tell me later.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I thought what we might do is begin with your own spiritual journey and how it took the turns which led you to meet the leprechauns in Ireland.
Well, I think I'd probably say that I've been a meditator since I was about 20 years old, so it's a long period of time that search for enlightenment and consciousness has been my main aim. And when I was about 20 years ago now, I gave up my 16-year relationship and my business and everything in order to actually become enlightened, and I went on a retreat to Ireland and rented a cottage sight unseen in a remote island called Achill Island off the west coast. And that is where, when I walked into that cottage, a very old cottage, I was greeted by a leprechaun and his family, and my life has really not been the same since.
I can imagine. Well, as it turns out, by the way, I've read both your books, and they are absolutely wonderful reads, and they are a delight to read. I recommend them highly to everyone. It turns out that the locals there told you there was something interesting about the lane that goes through the cottage as well, didn't they?
They did. When I went down to get some food in the day after I arrived, I was somewhat in shock, but I decided I would just continue and see how the summer would progress. And it's a tiny little town of Kiel, and there's one shop which is the grocery store, the post office, the bank, and everything else. And the owner there, he said to me, so where are you staying? And I said, well, I'm staying in the Douglas cottage. Oh my God, he said, did you not know it's haunted? Well, I didn't want to let on, did I? Because, I'd be the talk of the whole community. So I said, what? Haunted by what? As if I hadn't already had my own experience. And he said, oh, haunted by the little people. He said, in fact, you're living on a whole haunted lane. None of the locals go down that road at night. So it was well known by the locals about this particular cottage.
So now, did you actually meet them as you walked in? They made their presence felt. I mean, you actually saw them, right?
I do. Now, people often ask me, are they in third dimensional reality like you and me? And I say to them that I have always, since a young child, I've been able to hear what people are thinking, and I have seen dead people, if you like, and other beings. So this runs in my family, which is Irish, and they call it having second sight. And for me, seeing the leprechaun is as clear as seeing you, if I were to see you. And to hear him is as clear. And a lot of people have actually seen him or seen other elementals. I actually have pictures, some in my DVD, and photographs which I take to workshops of actual fairies and elementals. But when people usually take a picture of me with my leprechaun friend, it turns out to be a gigantic blob of light. Now, I know that orbs are all very popular right now, but these aren't orbs. This is as large a patch of light as if you took a picture of from your neck down to your navel, right?
Now, just for our listening audience, could you give us some visuals on what they were wearing and how they presented themselves that first time?
Well, my leprechaun friend, who I call, or he likes to be called Lloyd, that's not his real name, but that's the name he goes by when talking to humans, and he is about 4 feet tall, and he wears, he's got larger than average feet, where he wears these big clunky shoes. He's got these heavy socks up to his knee and then Irish trousers on them. He's got a tight-fitting waistcoat, green waistcoat, and on his head he likes to wear a top hat. So he's quite the picture and definitely not in current style. And his mate, she, usually dresses in clothes that are a good, half a century out of style as well. Quite conservative.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, he was given an assignment to learn about the humans, wasn't he?
He actually chose it himself. He is a part of a group of elementals, or another word for them is nature spirits, to which brownies and elves and trolls and fairies belong. And his particular group are interested in working with humans around the world so that they can become conscious creators on this planet, because they feel that humans have done a terrible job, I can't help but agree about that, in looking after the planet. And so this is a relatively new group, Lance, that has only been going for just over 100 years. And my friend is that old. They live longer than we do in our dimension.
And now they can pop up anywhere that they choose to. Is that right? Anywhere in the world? Yes,
they can travel in space and time. They know what humans know about in theory. Humans know now that there is no such thing as space and time, and that this is some sort of construct. But we do have trouble with the actual experience of that knowledge. But they don't. They know that they can travel in the past, the present, the future. They can travel just by thought anywhere that they want. And this is becoming more and more obvious. There are avatars in the human world who do this, and we know this. And we're going to be doing this in this 21st century fairly soon, as in history's evolution.
Well, I wanted to ask you about that, and this is a good time to segue into it. because I know that you're involved with the International Institute for Transformation, and you're probably also aware of the numerous shifts and various ends of ages that we're going through now. What is your personal feeling about the transformations that we'll be going through and the timing of them, given all the prophecies in the Mayan calendar and the rest of it?
I'm very optimistic, and it's based on a deep-seated belief and trust that our Creator, whatever you want to call the being that has created this beautiful planet and solar system, has in mind that we evolve and grow into consciousness and creators, and that we would not be set up to fail.
Right.
And so I believe that, yes, we are definitely going through a dissolution of the old forms.
Yes.
We can see this. You can see it. All of us can see it. Financially,
the wars,
and environmentally, socially.
Yes. On every level, we've taken about every wrong turn you can imagine.
We have,
yes.
But that's because we're only kindergarten creators, and the same laws don't apply to kindergarten to children.
Yes,
as would apply to full adults.
That's right. That's right. Well, so do you see this as a shift into, say, graduating from kindergarten to grade school, for instance, or a shift in consciousness in which we do become responsible for the planet and for ourselves?
I believe that is our destiny.
Yeah.
That humanity is to be a guardian of this planet and other species, and that we are creators. Yes.
Well, we better get at it quickly because time is running out. We're running out of oceans and air and food, not to mention other things. So,
on one level, this is absolutely true. And if we only look at our third-dimensional reality, which most of us seem to think is the only one, we can't deny that everything's falling apart. But I've always seen things on other dimensions, and even science now knows that there are at least 8 dimensions. This isn't science fiction. This is well known. Right. And so I believe in these other dimensions there is great deal of optimism, and that we are actually, humanity's frequency is increasing, our vibrations increasing, we're becoming lighter, and we are moving into these higher dimensions where we will be able to change just with one thought, a united thought, the reality that we find around us.
I agree with you, and even though there doesn't appear to be evidence to prove that, it seems that numerous guests on the show have talked about making a jump to the 5th dimension, and then we're beyond that. That's a kind of platform from which we will then ascend further.
Yes.
So it seems like a good possibility because this is something that happens periodically, and we've seen jumps in evolution in the past, and it seems about time that the butterfly gained its wings.
That's right. That's a nice image.
And then we could leave this third-dimensional reality behind.
Yes, because it's the. I still think that there is, in the 4th dimension, it's interesting that most of your guests talk about the 5th, because if we're talking about the 4th, which is one up from us now, this is the realm of Armageddon, if you like. It is the